Hello, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to talk about Haru, and we're going to see is she worth picking up and go over her kit, some synergies, and what should you focus on when using her. So first, she's here, Haru, 70 summons, is a 50-50, so if you lose a 50-50, you get her on the next 5-star summon. So hopefully everyone's summons go well, and I hope you're able to get the character. So first, looking at her, she is attacker and she is a justice unit. And then moving on to her cards, we have her basic attack, or her basic card, anchor, power anchor, and shield. Then we have her anchor shot. So anchor shot is basically her main damage dealer and what basically you want to focus on when using her. So when you use anchor shot, it increases damage for each time you use. So you basically want to keep recycling anchor shot, and you could do that quite well with some of the cards in her deck, mainly some of her unique cards, mainly Anchor Pointer, which is able to grab the card from the draw pile or the graveyard. Now we look at some of the epiphanies. So for the epiphany for Anchor Shot, this increases the damage by 90% instead of 60% each time you use it. 30% damage is not bad, and you multiply by 5, it goes up to 450%, which is quite big and is a lot of damage. Next we have combo plus 1 hit. Then we got discard all other cards and 100% damage for each card. This one's not bad because if you are using Haru, most of the time you're going to be only using her cards. So discard and their cards for the extra damage is quite big. And depending on this team synergy, is like if you go in a deck with that's just drawing cards, this might be really good because now you're just getting that extra damage when you discard. Moving next, we create this card in a draw pile, so you could create an extra copy of Anchor Shot. Then lastly, on critical hit, return it to hand. And this is quite good because there's another card that's actually benefits this, so it increases your critical hit chance, so you get more Anchor Shots. Now, moving on to Anchor Pointer. So this card allows you to get Anchor Shot from the draw pile or the graveyard, and if it moves it to hand. Also, almost forgot, the special effect on Anchor Shot is Pulverize that just do more damage to shields. And some of the special effects here, Retain, if you understand in a game, Retain basically means if you don't use the card, it stays in your hand. Alright, moving on. So to the anchor pointer that allows you to grab Anchor Shot. Anchor Shot gets retrieve. So retrieve basically means when you use the card, it comes back to your hand one more time. This grabs an Anchor Shot and gives the card retain. So if you don't want to use the card but keep it in your hand, this is quite nice. Next we add retrieve to Anchor Pointer. So you could use this, get Anchor Shot, use Anchor Shot, then you could use this again because it comes back to your hand. And this is good if you have a lot of AP because Anchor Shot is 2. The basic cost is 2. So you have 4 AP, you could use this, use Anchor Shot, then use this again, then use Anchor Shot again. So you could really see the combos that she could really pull off, especially with different team members and the synergy that she could have with certain characters, so certain other characters. Next, it gives 20% damage to the card, and this one is the talking about it gives critical hit chance 25%. So if you get this and the one that increases, well, the one that returns the card to the hand when you get a critical hit, you can just really see the synergy of her cards really come together. Now we move on to Power Charge. So this is her AoE. So good thing about her, she does have single target and AoE, which is quite nice. Her first epiphany is plus 100%. Well, not plus 100. It is plus 100% if it's single target, so more single target damage. Attack weakness to all characters. When you defeat a character, it activates one more time. Personally, I believe this one might be the best because this gives her great AoE and she has great single target. I don't think her single target is a problem, but added onto AoE might be really good. So if you defeat one enemy, it could trigger again. And well, it says max 1. Imagine if it wasn't max, that'd be really good. But having 2 triggers of this really boosts her AoE quite a lot if you could get a kill. This boosts the next attack card. So if you want to use this before your anchor shot, this gives a plus 30% attack. And then combo, if you use the same element before this reduces by 1. So personally, I will go for this because she don't have any other AoE. This might be the best AoE that she could get. And it just really, basically it doubles her damage if you get a kill with this. Now, moving on, we have Charge Energy. So this card just buffs her Bane, her Anchor Shot, or the AoE skill that we just looked at. So it really depends on what you want to do. Increases damage, tenacity damage, and this increases the damage by the number of cards in hand. That's quite a lot. You're able to draw one for a turn and 30% more card damage and 20% attack card damage. But I guess this makes it 0, so this makes it a lot better. So usually it costs 1 energy. This makes it 0 energy, which makes it a lot more useful in terms of using it with Anchor Shot if you want to use different synergies or different combos. Like I mentioned before, when the one where that if you have 4 AP, you can use Anchor Shot twice. This allows you to throw and charge energy on top of that too. Other than that, personally, I think the 0 energy probably be the best, or even this one, just to boost the damage a lot if you don't have any other combos in hand. This could be really good to boost the damage. And then lastly, we have Lift Anchor. This gives it 70% damage boost, but also increases the cost. This is not bad. It's okay. And plus it has Retain, so you could use it whenever, so you don't have to worry about that. That's the really good thing about this card. Also, this card also have Retain. As you can see, her deck really synergizes well with itself. You want to use Anchor Shot constantly, and then you have 2 buff cards that can stay in hand whenever you need the extra damage to buff it. And then you also have Anchor Pointer that's able to retrieve Anchor Shot multiple times. This deck is quite good. And after using her, because in the story you're able to use her, and after using her for quite a while, she is really nice and she does quite a lot of damage. There's some crazy synergies that you do, and you just constantly spam an Anchor Shot over and over. Now we can just look at her potential. So this just gives her a free Epiphany at the beginning. Her basic card plus Anchor, 20% damage. The card effect gains additional effect, increases damage Anchor Shot by 10%. Okay, so I'll boost her Anchor Shot damage. Plus 10 damage to Anchor Shot. If her attack is greater than 1,000, additional 10% damage. That's quite nice. Alright, so this is just buffing her damage, and now we can look at her dupes. Let's see how well her dupes are. Alright, now look at her first dupe. So this is just buffing up her Lift Anchor, so as you can see here, and increases the damage of this. So now it goes from 70 to 100% damage increase. That is quite nice. Now we're looking at Anchor Shot. So this could be used without sufficient cost, and cards used with this effect consume all remaining AP. For every AP less than the original cost, 40% less damage. So if you have 1 AP, you get 40% less damage. If you had 0 AP, so this costs 2, it's going to double, so it'll be 80. If Anchor Shot costs 3 and you want to use it, so that's 3 AP, so it'll be 120 less damage. Overall, I believe just getting an extra use of this is so much more beneficial that the minus damage is okay. Especially at 1 AP, I believe the minus damage is okay, especially because Anchor Shot stacks damage. So a little damage off the top isn't too bad, and plus the stackable damage is still a lot more than minus 40%. It's actually 60. And then also you have the Epiphany that increases that stackable damage. This 40% is not enough for you. This 40% is not enough for you not want to use it because it's a little bit less damage. Now we look at her third dupe. Power Strike increases damage. It's 100% more damage and plus 20% more damage for each beneficial effect owned. Alright, not bad, not bad. Next we look at her dupe 4, whenever Haru uses Anchor Shot card, gain 1 power supply. Power supply increases the attack card damage by 20% and it stacks up to 3 times. Next, we have the Do 5 that just gives more levels to the potential, +3 to basic, neutral, and unique cards. And lastly, damage reduction for Anchor Shot used with insufficient cost is changed to 20% per AP spent. Alright, so this basically doubles up on what this, just less damage, and now it's down to 20%. So if you're going for dupe 6, just use Anchor Shot. The minus damage is just not enough, and plus it stacks. You're going to just be able to just spam it all the time, and it doesn't matter that you don't have the AP because you're still going to do a ton of damage. So if you're spamming Anchor Shot, the stackable damage is going to be a lot. So a minus 20%, 40, 60, or 80% is not going to be enough for you not want to use Anchor Shot. So that is basically her dupes. They don't seem too bad. I think if you are going to get dupes, it might be get 2 dupes because being able to use Anchor Shot anytime is really good. Especially because you have cards that buff the damage. So having that minus 40% damage is not bad if you want to use it. Because she has cards that buff damage, like Charge Energy and Lift Anchor. These add damage to it. So her dupe 2 might be the stopping point if you want to get dupes. Other than that, I don't think her other dupes are worth it. Unless you're going full end to get dupe 6, then this might be crazy. This will really make her really spam Anchor Shot. And I can't imagine how many times you'll be able to get this off if you get dupe 6. But personally, I would think dupe 2 is the stopping point if you wanted some dupes. Alright, now let's move on to some teams and some synergies that she had with certain characters. If you have played her side story already, you got paired up with Ray and Mika. So these are the 2 characters that they paired her with during the story. And I can see the synergy of why they paired her with Ray is because of this. This is buffs her Anchor Shot by a lot. Other than that, I don't really see any more synergy between those 2 characters. The only reason why they was in the story is because they are friends in the story, so they wanted to make a team with them. But the only synergy that she really has with her is because of the boost attack damage for attack card. Next, I can see the real synergy with Mika though, because you want the plus AP. So certain combos, like if you want to do the Anchor Smash, then grab it from the graveyard, do Anchor Smash again, that'll be 4 AP. We only have 3 AP, so we need that plus 1 AP. So bringing Mika is really good. That plus AP is so crucial if you want to combo with her Anchor Shot. So I believe Mika is a good 4-star unit to bring with Haru. Now, also during the side story, they also added Cassius and they also added Amir. So the good thing about with him, also you show off, he allows you to draw a lot. And some of his combos and some of his quests allows you to get Anchor Shot a lot more, dig through your graveyard, or shuffle your deck. Shuffling deck is really big. Card manipulation in a roguelike is going to be big in this game. So being able to pick out cards or choose different cards or shuffle your deck to get Anchor Shot more times is quite beneficial. Cassius could probably be in any team just because of the way his deck is built. Now next, they added Amir. So the reason why they added Amir because certain cards that she have can get Celestial. And the reason why, because Anchor Shot costs 2 and Celestial is triggered when you use a 2 cost or higher, as you can see right here. So this is the reason why they paired her with Haru in the side story, is because some cards could get Celestial and her cards cost 2. So using Anchor Shot basically triggers these cards. And Amir is a great defensive unit, so it gives you a lot. She gives you a lot of defensive damage, and she also does extra attacks when she has Mentalization, when she gets shields also. So that is the combo I saw. Now that is the 4-star. But if you are using her with another 5-star, you might even look at Killer P, because Killer P benefits from cards that cost a lot. And the good thing about Haru is that she have 2 cost cards, So you're able to do a lot of single target damage. Then you add in Calliope, now you can do a lot of AoE damage because Calliope Vulture Injection is going to trigger off a Anchor Shot. So that is a big synergy I can see with her. Other than that, the biggest things that you want for Haru is it's going to be AP, so you can spam her Anchor Shots and constantly retrieve and get them back to spam Anchor Shot. You want to draw, so if you get characters that draw cards, that's really big. And then you also buff cards. So if you want to boost her damage to do big single target damage, those are basically the three things you're kind of looking for when building a team with Haru. Overall, I believe Haru is a great unit, and if you want to pick her up, she does do a lot of damage. She can do secret target, and she can also do AoE with some of her one of her unique cards. Do I recommend picking her up? I can say yes. She seems like she's a good unit, but the thing is, she is going to be added to the standard bandit after her bandit period is over. So if you want to save for a limited character, I totally understand. But she doesn't seem bad for the first rate up unit that we got. So thanks for watching. Take care. I hope you have a good one. Peace out. Now here's a short clip from my stream of Haru doing some crazy damage. Since we broke, we get the 1 AP, so I could do this. Now. Look at that. This is insane.
준비 완료. 모두 정숙하세요. 다음은 함장님이십니다. 수고하셨습니다. 그럼 우리